Boys, you saw the title and thumbnail. This is a CLS Unlock Guide. You probably have done this event before, but most likely you're either new to the game or you're starting an alt with us in the free-to-play guild. And if you want to know more about that, check out the video in the top right card right now. And you're looking at how to do the CLS event. CLS event isn't terrible, but I know you probably don't want to overinvest in these characters, so let's hop right in. Keep in mind, the last tier of the event is the hardest tier and the one that we're going to be walking through today. You only require these 4 characters. If you want to see guides on some of the other tiers, I can do that. Just keep in mind that this is the kind of necessary requirements for the last tier, so you can get through all the other ones with this. Old Ben's not required for last tier. I went ahead and took him to gear 9 because I'm using Old Ben, and Old Ben's not a bad character at all. So I don't mind putting a little gear into Old Ben. I had Luke at gear 8, Leia at gear 9, Han at gear 8, and R2 at gear 9. If you're wondering about which characters to invest in, which characters not to if you're struggling, I would say R2 and Leia are the best 2 to invest in. Either one of them is going to be pretty okay for a while, R2 more so than Leia. And you could also invest in a Han a little bit. You could probably take him to gear 9. That's totally fine, especially if you're going to build a Sana Staros team. But he's kind of niche in the teams he fits in, whereas I feel like R2 and Leia can kind of plug and play for the most part. Farm Boy Luke is pretty much useless, so I really don't recommend gearing him past gear 8. As far as levels go, I will show you that real quick. When I did the event, this is from my stream, I had gear level 84 R2, level 84 Leia, level 80 Han, and level 75 Luke. The keys for this event are going to really be Han and R2, and Leia a little bit. Luke is kind of just on the wayside. Not really a big deal. So as far as modding goes, I think Han and R2's mods, again, are the most important. So for Han, I got 18,000 health and 15,000 protection. These are the 2 that you're really looking for. A little bit of speed is nice, but it's not really necessary. You don't have to have a ton of speed on Stormtrooper Han, because really what you want him to do is to get his taunt out and then to take as many hits as possible while he has his taunt out. I also have a crit avoidance arrow on Han on this. Or no, sorry, I actually switched to a health arrow on this. So just giving him as much health as possible. I was erring on the side of health over protection because of the fact that in between the waves, you're going to regenerate health a little bit, and Han has a small amount of health steal. So I really was actually using that. So I recommend just getting as much health basically as possible you can, and if you can't get health, protection. For R2, we shot for speed, obviously, highest speed we possibly could, which was 210 at the time. And then potency, we got 78% potency. You really want R2 to hit his burns and stuns. Those are what's going to be helping you survive with the stuns and then deal a lot of damage with those burns. So potency cross, a potency set I put on here, and then health the rest of the way, because you want him to survive, obviously. The other character that is probably the next most important is Leia, just as fast as possible, with plenty of durability and some crit damage if you can afford it. I don't think we actually have any crit damage on this set, but really what we're looking for is just for her to do as much damage as possible, and have enough speed to take as many turns as possible. And then finally, we have Luke's mods. Luke, I did throw a little bit of potency on, I believe, in the secondaries, just kind of looking out for that where I could, but not too concerned about it. Again, just speed is really what we're looking for on Luke. So anyways, with that being said, let's hop over to the actual video. This video came from my stream, so I'm going to kind of walk you through, maybe pause it a couple times, show you my thought process of what I was doing when that was going on. So we'll cut to that. In the event, I'm going to play it. I might pause it throughout and kind of tell you my thought process as to what I'm doing, but let's go ahead and just hop into the video. I'm commenting on this in post, so I'm not actually playing it right now. This was from right after stream. I was recording and happened to get it right after I ended stream. So the first phase, really the key here is to make sure Han doesn't die. And Han doesn't lose too much protection. So you see that they're shooting other people, and I even put the stealth onto Han, so that way they would shoot R2. That's really the key here. I'm trying to save as much of Han's health and protection for the later phases. The reason I'm doing this is because his taunt gives turn meter to everybody else, and so if I can get as much of that turn meter as possible before he dies, he will die in the last phase, then it's going to set me up for success the best. So in the first phase, I'm actually letting R2 take some hits because R2 is plenty tanky on his own, and he's a higher gear level. And then after this phase, I'll let Han start taking some damage. Still really trying to save most of his health and protection for phase 3. You'll notice that the reason this run is successful is because I'm going to end phase 1 with Han still having a majority of his health and protection. So you see I don't taunt here. Also with Leia, I am not using her stealth. I am just using her basic. This is because I didn't have her abilities upgraded all the way, so she didn't get the bonus turn. So I didn't have any Omegas on anybody here at all. So this is all without any Omegas as well, which is great because we're saving resources. So you'll see Han takes a little bit of damage here, but really we're trying to just let everybody else soak up the hits. Because if he can taunt in the last phase, he'll take up way more hits that way. So really our focus priority here, we're kind of forced to take out the tanks first, but as soon as possible I try to take out that Imperial officer. And then the order here on this first phase, it really doesn't matter. Just get whoever you can low. Hitting some dots with Luke is always helpful as well, and as many stuns as possible with R2. First phase is pretty simple. Second phase, I go for taking out one of the recon troopers first. The reason I do this is because the recon troopers both have AoEs, whereas the scout trooper is attacking single target. And so really what I'm trying to do is prevent them from hitting Han. So I'm going to take out these recon troopers first. You'll see I continue to not use Leia special, just her basic. Again, letting R2 soak up as many hits as possible. I really want Han to just be as close to full health and protection as possible when we enter phase 3. And you see that AoE took some of Han's protection, so that's kind of why I was trying to avoid that as much as possible. So if your Han doesn't have basically full health, at least going into the last phase, at least at this gear level, it's probably a wash. Now, if you're higher gear level and all that, you're probably fine. But if you're trying to do it with minimum gear, if your Han doesn't have near full HP at least, if not some protection still, it's a wash. Just retreat, start again. All right. Anyways, going into this last battle. Now the priority is let Han soak up as many hits as possible. Land stuns wherever we can. Luke can only land stuns when he crits, so I don't use his special here. Trying to get those burns out because R2 does more damage to burned enemies. You really want to get Han's taunt out early. That was the only bad RNG I had here. And so now watch. As Han gets hit, he's going to feed turn meter to everybody else. And that's really what's going to win us this. So I was kind of debating on whether to stealth and give Han some foresight. But really, I want him to take hits right now. Because the more hits he's going to take, the more damage that he's going to, or turn meter that he's going to provide to everybody else. So when you start off, you're going to get stuck behind these taunts on these two stormtroopers, and the center guy, I forget what he is, commando or whatever, he's going to end up healing. And that's kind of unavoidable. I couldn't find a way to get around this. So what I decided to do is I just picked a stormtrooper, doesn't matter which one, and I just decided to focus him down. So you'll see we'll kill this one in just a second here. But he already got the heal off, so I know the heal isn't active. I'm getting a ton of turn meter from Han taking hits. And in just a second here, Han's probably going to die. So now that he's getting low, I'm going to go ahead and throw the foresight on him. Let him dodge a hit. And now we're still forced to focus on this taunt. And now the taunt's down. So now we're going to focus this scout trooper in the back. The reason we're focusing this scout trooper over focusing the main guy is because the scout trooper has lower health. And that's important because this guy has a ton of health, this main guy. And this scout trooper does do a ton of damage. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get this scout trooper out because he does high single target damage before his heal comes back on. And so you'll see in a second here, I think we burst out this scout trooper pretty quickly. This burn might kill him actually. Oh no, I don't think it does. We tried to land a stun there. Unfortunately, we didn't hit it. And so now we're just letting the burn take care of that scout trooper, and we're focusing on the recon trooper. So burn takes out the scout trooper. Damage over time plus burn on the recon trooper. Very good for me. And you could try to focus this guy earlier, the healer dude, the commando or whatever he is. The problem is that he just has so much health that it's very difficult to get him out early. So now we let R2 tank now that Han's dead, since R2 does have the next most health. And the damage over time is by Luke, really helping with killing off that recon trooper. And then the commander, we're going to try to stun, not hit it, unfortunately. Try to stun, and we do get it that time. And then we get some burn on him. Oh, no, we don't get burn, apparently. Double tap by Leia is great. Damage over time is great. Hopefully another stun. Unfortunately not. But should be easy cleanup from here. He's got 2 damage over time. This should kill him right here. There we go. So again, the biggest key is make sure that end of phase 1, at the end of phase 1, your Han still has plenty of health and protection. I think it was back here. Oh wait. Into phase 1, your Han still has plenty of health and protection, and then into phase 2, your Han still has plenty of health and protection. So that way, when you go into phase 3, he can feed as much turn meter as possible. Again, that is the key, I think, to clearing this event with low gear. Modding your Han for as much health as you possibly can. I didn't have all health primaries. I couldn't find all of them. So if you have more health primaries, that's even better, probably. I did not go for crit avoidance. I did try that for a while. It just didn't seem like it was as good as just having him have higher base health. So that's my rundown of the event. And you'll see that if you do all of that, you can unlock your CLS. My CLS is now gear 12 with that team. And so, yeah, if with gear 8s and 9s, you can totally clear it. I think maybe I could have gotten away with Leia being 1 gear lower and still clearing it, but it was kind of hard. I didn't have full ability upgrade mats when I did it, which really, because that was more pressing for me than the gear needed to gear up some of these characters. And you'll see I can still upgrade plenty of their abilities. I will say, if you're kind of wondering which abilities to upgrade, Leia's basic is a good one to upgrade. Han's taunt needs to have this 3rd tier where it gives the turn meter, and even higher tiers would definitely help. And then Han's leadership is another good one to upgrade as well. But you'll see, I had a lot of these not upgraded at all. R2's abilities are all great to upgrade. So if you max out his abilities as much as you can, and Luke's I barely upgraded at all. I mainly upgraded this one so that way he gets some extra turn meter whenever he scores a crit. But that's my guide for CLS. Let me know if you guys need other guides in the future, especially as we're going through on the free-to-play account and doing events over again. We're going to be doing the Jedi Knight Revan soon. We're going to be doing BB-8 soon. We're going to be doing Jedi Training Rey soon. So I'll be making guides on all of those just as I do them, in case there's things that have changed with them or maximizing ways to do it. I know the ability materials is kind of a thing that I was short on rather than gear, so that's kind of how I adjusted this one compared to maybe other guides you've seen. So like and subscribe. We're trying to hit 500 subscribers, so that way the channel can get monetized. So that way I don't have to be as broke as I am and make like $2 a month from YouTube instead of $0 a month. So if you want to subscribe, join the Patreon if you really want to be an OG. But I appreciate you guys. Take care and peace.